the way, kalau Mansa tuh biasanya nyari talent khusus Web3 atau non Web3 juga kalian bantu distribute ya?
All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Insider series tonight. Today we have an amazing guest and a very special guest as well. One of the quote unquote legend, yeah, in the Web3 space in Indonesia. Today we are not just talking about how to enter Web3, but we are also going to talk about where Web3 developments is going next, especially for some of you guys who might be an aspiring developers, maybe blockchain developers to be specific, who may have some questions regarding what is the future looks like Web3, whether it's worth it for us to explore as of now. But without further ado, let me invite the man itself to the stage and maybe do a quick intro for all of us. Welcome, Ricksen.
My name is Ricksen. I'm the CEO of Monklabs, and basically we are a venture studio that we develop multiple Web3 apps in the Web3 spaces, basically like from EVM and SVM. We do it all, and we also do some AI projects. So basically, we are a software house or like a studio that combine Web3 and AI in one place.
All right, super interesting, Rickson. But maybe do you mind giving us a bit of background as well, regarding you yourself, right? Where you come from, what kind of university, what kind of background. How do you find yourself in this particular role and company in the first place?
Sure. Okay, so I'm gonna get maybe a bit of background of myself. So I'm from like Binus University in Jakarta. So I was like involved in Web3 or crypto maybe since like 2019. At first, it's like only as a trader, right? Like most of us become join Web3 because we by using like Binance, buying BNB at that time. And over the time, like I'm joining like more projects on Web3, like I'm starting doing graphic design works for some Web3 projects. Then it's in evolved to become like making a landing page for some Web3 projects, Web3 tokens also. And it's grow also to at this level, we do it all like from projects discussions like consultations for Web3, smart contract development, landing page development, app development, even like we do like some web projects that want to integrate AI. At that time, like I think last year, the narrative is like AI and like finance AI fi. So we do it all also. So maybe the background is that. So from like personal like a freelancer, I grow the work to become a company where right now we are like 15 people in Monk Labs, like all of it have like design background, developer background, product design background, and yeah, and the product manager and me in there.
That is some crazy stuff right there. Starting from 2019 and then slowly build yourself and the company, and then
Mm.
now you have more than 15 people on your payroll, right? Super
Yes.
amazing and inspiring as well. But a quick question, right? Most of the clients are those mostly, maybe Indonesian company, or is it most like global stuff right there?
Right now, if I can say, it's like 60% global and 40% Indonesia. Because at first, like we are focused mostly on like global clients, but turns out like because of the network in Indonesia, Web3 and blockchain community also, we have some clients also like our friends that we help. So yeah, right now the client is like 60% global and 40% local.
That sounds pretty decent and quite mixed between global and local. Um,
Mm,
but maybe let us start the session a bit casually as well, right? From your
yeah.
perspective, as
Mm,
someone who has been in the space for quite some times, from 2019, and maybe you have some perspective as a workers as well, and now as a founder as well. But what do you see? The current state of like the Web3 space, either as a builders or as a employee situation as well.
okay. Maybe I'll just share what are my thought about like Web3 industry as per now, right? Because we somehow we have to be like quite uh aware of the like the Web3 markets, if we of the like the market of the crypto market also, even like we are on Web3, right? What I can say is like, while there's a bull market, like everybody suddenly like want to build a Web3 stuff, like making smart contract in here, in there, in any industries, right? But where time like this, maybe I can say it's like kind of like bear market, or like it's already bear market. It really shows like which company that really using Web3 for like a crucial part of their business, or like some company that using Web3 just to take the narratives. So what I can say right now as a company on bear market is like really testing everyone. Like, are you here on Web3 for only for the narrative, only for like multipliers on the token price, or like on the meme tokens, or like you're here for the technology and for the real blockchain's use case?
A quick question, right? On like, which company do you think will actually survive nowadays, right? Because I think there's a lot of debate on like, there's a lot of company out there as well who utilize, let's say, blockchain technology and everything, but it really didn't work out. But some company who might be, two and a half kind of situation, right? Not exactly blockchain on chain kind of stuff, but actually make a decent, attraction, right? So, do you think the future will be leaning towards, more blockchain technology, meaning that the company who adopt the blockchain 100% blockchain technology will actually survive? Or do you think that the trend is actually shifting on the other way, more towards two and a half, or maybe people don't even realize that blockchain is being used on the surface?
Okay, so at first I can say like Web3 is still the future, so I believe in that. So every like the transactions and every things that we do online, it should be like using some kind of like blockchain technology. But even it's like maybe not everyone should know it's Web3 at the surface, but at the background using Web3 or like using blockchains as a core of the company is like always better. That's first. So for the Web3 and blockchain is always like will be used everywhere in the future. That's what I can say right now. What I just want to like clarify is like sometimes like there's company that just want to try using blockchain, just maybe some narrative, maybe they want to do more marketing, or like just for like quick gains for themselves. I think that's those company that have a bit of risk if like they say they are Web3, but they're using Web3 not only not for a core products or like core system for themselves. I mean like for web blockchain is like kind of like database, if I want to make it like super simple, right? Like good database is always good for every company, but not all company have to using blockchain in every transaction. For example, like if every messaging we have to using one transaction, or like in every step of where we're playing games, we every steps have to be tracked on chain. It's like it's too overkill in my opinion. So right now my opinion is like Web3 will be good for all company that using Web3 for core products, not overuse it. So still use it, but don't overuse on or overclaim about their Web3 stuff.
I completely agree. I think the future of blockchain definitely is still a long path, but I
Yeah.
think we have seen a lot of interesting adoption use cases as well. Like, but I think that the only downside and concern from maybe some of the audience here today as well is actually, we see that the blockchain space is on a cycle, right? Meaning that
Yeah.
there's always a bear market, bull market, down
Yeah.
and ups and everything. So a lot of uncertainty, even though on a bigger scale, we can see that it's going upwards, right?
Yeah.
But the real question is, maybe let's drop the big bomb for the audience just to start today, right? Do you think that if anyone here today on the audience are aspiring, to work in Web3, do you think it's still a good time, uh, either for developers or non-developers?
So from my perspective, it's like back to everyone background, right? but some of like my fellow friends also, like Web3 developers or Web3 entrepreneurs, we always say like it's better to build in bear market because we can focus on the products, not focus on the price, not focus on like launching tokens. So if you are like thinking Web3 or like blockchain is a future, there is no late, if we can say, for you to start. If you haven't started, just start it now. If you don't know what is like Web3 and you want to try, want to like build an app, just follow, because like even on this kind of market, there are still several like hackathons that you can join. I mean, like hackathon is like one of like the key points for you to test your skills, to you, for you to learn, and for you to see what others build and to keep on the trends, what's happening on the web3 ecosystem and web3 trends right now.
So there you go, guys. Some insight from the man itself regarding Web3s. So some of you who might just still concerned or maybe thinking about building on the bear market, well, the man have spoken
Yeah.
that maybe we can think as think in an optimistic view, right? Even though I know there's a lot of other aspect like World War III is currently happening on the Middle East, right?
Yeah.
But but maybe that means there is less competition, guy. So maybe it's time for
Or even the
Asia
competition.
to shine, right? Because the West
Yeah.
is in chaos right now. so so well, okay. So let us move to the next section, right? I think a lot of the guests that we have previously, Ricksen, is
Yeah.
mostly non-developers, right? Like community
Mm.
managers, BD, marketing,
Yeah.
and all. So we are super excited to finally have someone who understood and also know about the developer space instead. And we see that there's
Mm.
a lot of trends. I'm also Binusian, right? So
Okay.
we see that a lot of the fresh graduates, students are, exploring Web3, especially on the
Yeah.
developer side of things, because there's a lot of upside, right?
Yeah.
Huge income potential, working remotely and globally as well and everything. But maybe, do you think that the Indonesian or maybe students as of now can actually compete in the market and this in this current situation, right? And if you think so, do you have any kind of maybe tips, right? Tips for them as well regarding where to start.
Okay, maybe to answer this, to be honest, it's also like my questions like 2 years ago. So like I've been on Webchase since 2019, right? But on like 2024, like we tried to join the ETH Global Hackathon in Singapore, right? It's like an offline hackathon for like 36 hours, and all of my friends, like we are five of us, is all Indonesians. So like three people from Venus also. So yeah, I mean like there's no risk, right, for us to test the hackathon. And in there, yeah, there's it's like international talents in there, right? Like from India, from like Western, and from China. So like it's all people and we compete there for like 36 hours, and it turns out we become like one of the 10 finalists in there, where there's like 4,000 people competing in there. Five of us like become like the finalists. So basically, it's also answering my questions. Oh, it turns out Indonesians is like there. We can compete with them. Sometimes like people in Indonesia have kind of like insecure feelings, right? For them, like okay, like Indian is smart, or like Chinese is like smarter than us. But it turns out there's nothing to lose, right? You can just try. There's no barrier. Even like the risk, there's no risk for you to test. Just try it. And if you are not winning, at least you will learn. You will learn a lot. The more you fail, the more you didn't win a hackathon, it will build you to become a very strong personality. So you can have like good mental to like compete again.
So maybe I'll add another layers of question on that, right? So I think what I
Mm,
see whenever we mention about just try and maybe just join any hackathons and everything, I think
mm,
it's a matter of like confidence, just like you mentioned as well, right? But
yeah.
a lot of them actually are still struggling on specifically on where to start, right?
Yeah.
At the time, do you do all the learning by yourself? Learning all the codes and everything, or do you actually have a maybe a good way or maybe hack that some of the audience might wonder as well?
Okay. So for that experience, basically, five of us, and I'm holding the role of like a PM, product manager, and like the designers. So because uh I found a friend that good at development, so he can do smart contract, he can do back and front end. So I just like do partnership with them. So I think that's one thing that we as a first, if you guys like feels don't know where to start, just join the community. So at least when you join a hackathon, even you're not the developers, you try to become a designers or like try to provide something that you can do. And over time, you will learn also. Then you can define because on hackathon, it's also something that I think people still always feel like hackathon is only for developers, but it's not. Like in there, basically, there's some people that just good at presentations, so they just found a team because like maybe there's a four very good developers, but they cannot present. If they cannot present, they cannot win the hackathon also, right? But if you're a very good marketer, you're very good presentations, you can join them and you present and you also join the team. So basically just start where you what skills you have now. But if you don't have any skills, just find out first what skills you want, right? Then if you know, okay, on Web3, you want to become developer, you can using AI to try to learn using vibe coding, like using Cursor at least, or like join the community. I think it's like the one of like the first things that you can do. You will talk to more people, you will learn from other people, and you can learn for yourself also.
So there you go, guys. One of the tips here is to just join any community and network, and eventually find yourself in sort of team, right? And maybe just join on whatever skill that you think you're good at, or maybe you can contribute, and then eventually snowball to what Ricksen is as of now, right? So I think the second question is that a lot of people are also wondering, right? Because whenever people try to ask about tips on like Web3 careers, again, hackathon is always one of the major points that people always bring up, right? But do you think hackathon experience actually matter that much in terms of like starting up in Web3, or is it actually just better to just you know go and build something else beyond the hackathon itself?
Okay. So I think if I'm taking perspective from me as employer or like business owners, if I found someone that have hackathon experience and even they didn't want, I want to hear what's the experience from their side, because I think that's a really good perspective, because some hackathons that offline hackathons and you have a time limit, right? And it's really test yourself what you can do in that time limit, and it's have a lot of like pressure. So it's really test you as a personal, either your designers, your developers, how you work under pressure. And if you can come out with that, even if you lose, it's still good, right? Like the more you put yourself under pressure, it always build you to become a better person. So yeah, that's my thought.
Super interesting insight. So there you go, guys. So maybe joining hackathon can also be a challenge to yourself and become a benchmark in a sense, right? Especially when it comes to hiring partners, like business owner, like Rickson here. What matters is like how you respond to challenges, how you react, and eventually maybe thrive on that challenges as well. Okay, so beyond hackathon, right? I think there's a lot of concern as well regarding what kind of roles matters, especially on the technical side, right? Because right now, as uh, AI is the number one jargon, right? Everyone
Yeah.
is trying to utilize AI, or now is AI agent, open cloud. People are installing Mac Mini, or even trying to replace the entire division of technicals
Yeah.
using AI, right? So if some of the audience today is coming from the technical side of things, front end, back end, and whatsoever, do you think the junior can actually compete, or do you have any tips, for them, especially for beginners, in the technical side, to actually still be relevant in this AI generation?
Okay. So this is also something that I told to my team also, right? To my like developers, like if you only good at coding or like developers, you can replace with AI, yeah, in a matter of time, right? But if you are developers, but you also have like the careness or like business mindset where you know, okay, like you're building a product, right? Like you're building features A, then you know, okay, what's the outcome of these features? Like why at the first place the clients or like the product manager asks you to build these features. So along the time, even like the requirement to build the feature is like only 3 points, but you can like give feedbacks or like from the business perspective, you can also like give some kind of like insights also from your as a developers. It's a very, very big plus point for us or like for yourselves. So we know like you are not only developers, but you have the sense of ownership of the features of like this app of like these projects also. I think that's one thing that I think AI have uh still a long way for AI to reach to at that point. Right now, AI is like still something like we told him to make something, then he make it. And sometimes AI still can make a mistakes, right? Even like on open cloud, if we have an agents, still agents is like cannot become like as logic as us where we can combine, okay, there's feedbacks from these clients, these users, then this is the state of the company, then as a developers, what can I do? So to all developers, what I can say is like if you see someone become a CTO of a company, it doesn't mean he is the best coders in there. There might be someone that better at code than him, right? But he, as the CTO or like as a lead tech, have more soft skills, not just the hard skills. So for me, if you guys like want to become developers, don't only focus on hard skills because that's the easiest thing AI can replace, but also build your soft skills so you can know how to communicate with your fellow friends, your boss in the company, or like also you can give feedbacks, you improve without waiting the instructions from your boss, basically.
I 100% agree with that. Right? I was just discussing this, yesterday with on Soon Network as well, because one of the key that I'm also trying to push to my team is the same, right? Which is regarding critical thinking, soft skills and everything. But you know
Yeah.
what? To be honest, I haven't figured it out, right?
Yeah.
Have actually, you know what, Rickson? Have you figured out, what is the best way actually to train your team, especially on those soft skills? Because we know that soft skill is something abstract in a sense, right? And it might
Yeah.
not be a template that everyone can just use and upgrades, not like hard skills where you can just
Yeah.
learn ABC and produce ABC. So what is your tips right now, in Monklabs, especially you have a lot of team members just now, like 15. What kind of method, do you mind sharing to us, and maybe this can be a
Okay.
relevant stuff to all the audience as well, right?
Okay, so I'll share what I've done, but yeah, hopefully this is like the correct way for me to for us to do it. But yeah, the way I'm doing it is like this. So basically, Monklabs is like a venture studio, right? So we are not only a software house studio where we build product for clients. So we also have our own products. Like we have a UI library website. We have multiple products. We have Yap, it's a marketplace for creators in Indonesia, and we have multiple products again. So what I try to do is like I share from the business perspective what's this product state at every month. So I told the team, okay, this is the product that you guys build. The state is like this, and what's our plan on the business and marketing side. So I think it's giving them the more reasons for them to do the development, do the designs. So it's not like they do this and they don't care about, okay, where these products go, or like they make a landing page, how big is the viewers of the visitors of the website, right? First I tell them the business side and the marketing side also for them to know the impact of the product that they build. That's first. The second one is like some of the products I give the authority for them to lead the products. Like we have pitstop.design. It's a UI library, so people can make good components without doing the coding using front end. So they just copy using pitstop.design. We just launched that yesterday. That product is like lead by one of my team that he already like joined Monklabs 2 years ago, and right now I try to give her products that he can lead. And the third thing is like we have a monthly sharing sessions. So every all of us can share about any topic that we think is interesting. So I can share about marketing. Some of my friend team want to share about like from the business side and from the development side. So the way I make it is like they're not just as a developer just to develop. They will learn what's happening on the marketing side. They will learn what's happening on the business side. And if like some of the uh, people want to share about like the other things like the design side, they will learn also. So a lot of things that we try to do, basically not giving people only one way to do something. They will learn all the perspective of product, because a product cannot run just by a tech only, right? Like AI can make Uber app in like maybe like 1 day or even less. But if there's no business people to marketing it, there's no marketing people to bring it to the masses, like do the distributions, it's just a code, right, in a server that no one use. So that's a perspective where I told to my team, and I try to make them can think a product holistically, not only on the developer side or like their designer side.
Very interesting. So basically, you are embedding entrepreneurship into
Yes.
every single one of the team members, and let them experiment a little bit and a little bit of room as well for them to explore and maybe lead and build as well, right? So that
Yeah.
that sounds super interesting, and this might come to my next question, and maybe a lot of the audience here today is also looking forward. Is that as a business owner, when it comes to hiring, say, someone for Monklabs, right? What kind of thing or criteria that you typically look for? You mentioned about hackathon not long ago, but beyond portfolios and everything, what kind of maybe soft skills or hard skills that you become a consideration for you?
Okay, so yeah, the hard skill, I think hackathon is somewhat showing you how how your mental, like even if you say you join 10 hackathon and you only win two, but you can say you join 10 hackathon. It's showing that you are kind of like the challenge, right? To learn something new, to put yourself in the pressure to make something in a limited time. So that's one thing. The other thing is like when the interview, I always ask why. So if I ask you what's why you joined the hackathon, then you can answer it with clear reasons, not only because my friend asked me to join or because I don't have anything to do. Right? That's showing like you don't know where you want to bring yourself, right? So first, at the CV, like your experience is a must, right? Like if you have say you have 3 years experience in a corporate, or like you have 2 year experience plus like 5 hackathons, it's good. So on CV, what I see is experience. And if you have portfolio, that's even better. So even if you don't join hackathon, but you make a one website portfolio of yourself, that you are showing me, okay, you build these websites because you find a problem in your daily life. For example, like I found someone that make a website with kind of like 3D Windows 98 vibes of music players, because he said he got bored with like Spotify UI, so he tried using Spotify API and make that website. So that's good. Then I feel like, okay, you kind of person that found a problem and you build your solutions to solve that problem. That's first. So if I want to sum it up from the CV, first like personal projects but really good and have a good reasons. Second is like the hackathons, also with a reasons. And the third is like uh experience in company. Maybe that's three. And after that, we can discuss in interview. And in interview also, I mostly ask about why you built this, why you joined this, why you apply for Monklabs and others.
So maybe let's dig deeper into the whys as well, right? So
Mm.
whenever you ask about why questions and everything, what kind of why actually satisfied you? Uh, what kind of notes, maybe hint, right, from their answers that you typically think that this is the kind of guy that I want on my team, right?
So the kind of why is always something that it's not sounds fake, but it's like genuine from themselves. So that's the most important part. So yeah, like they say, okay, they apply for Monklabs because like they want to learn AI. I mean, like that's you can learn AI everywhere, right? Like where you just say you want to join Monklabs just to learn AI, but you have a genuine reason. For example, like you know Monklabs experience or like Monklabs portfolio and you think it's suitable for you to learn or like to contribute in here, okay, that's good. Or like if you make a personal projects like the example before, you make this personal projects because like maybe there's a problem or like maybe someone that you think some of your friends think of something good idea but they cannot build it, then you build it for them. So that's a good reasons, right? A genuine reasons. Or like you make something that really suits what you like. Like if you are a fan of Blackpink and you make a really redesign of like a Blackpink website because you think the current Blackpink website is bad, then you make a website where there's a business mindset also. So you can say, oh yeah, I think Blackpink as a girl brand is very good, and as a business, they mostly get the earnings from the fans is like from tickets and the merchandise. So your website have like a merchandise and how it's much better than the current websites. So yeah, always the reason is like genuine and strong reasons when I ask why.
So genuine and maybe a little bit of personal as well, right? So I guess
Yeah,
uh, when it comes to genuine stuff, we can typically detect, whether this guy or girl maybe whether actually cares about whatever he's building, and I think that
yeah,
becomes one of the key point for you when it comes to hiring, right? So there you go,
yeah,
guys. Again, one of the key here is just to be you, in a sense, right?
yeah.
And kind of work on things that actually matters and interests for you instead of pretending or maybe just follow the trends or hype in a sense, right? So I'm trying to sum it up for the audience as well. I know we'll move to the Q&A sections soon. So feel free to drop your question, guys. I see there's a lot of question already, but again, feel free to drop any question, especially for Ricksen and maybe some technical stuff as well. It's up to you guys. So my next question, and maybe to help sum it up for the audience today, right? Again, I promise the audience on the technical role of futures, right? So,
Yes.
what do you think? For the long term, I think for the long term of like technical role, right? If they want to become a developers in Web3 right now, let's say in 5 years, on the next bull market, for example, or maybe
Yeah.
the next bear market instead, will it still be something that is promising, in your opinion, especially as a business owner who mostly, rely on this as well, right? Are you on the optimistic side, or do you think that maybe they just, you know, better off learning something else?
I think it's very good. I'm in the optimistic side of this. So that's why like as a company, we are Monklabs is like we are a Web3 company and AI company. So we think these both will be like the futures. So if you guys like Web3 or have interest, do a lot of learning in Web3. And yeah, don't forget about the soft skills also. So hard skill is like really important because I think the trend is like there. Like it's not about like the crypto price or like Bitcoin price, but I see like some of like the countries or like even EU. Maybe I'll share a bit like in EU, uh there is a rule, there's new policy. So for company that want to export CPO from Indonesia or like from any other part of the world want to export CPO to EU, they have to prove their supply chain using blockchains, using the standard that EU give. So it's showing that so people cannot like buy the CPO from like unregulated farmer and just send it to there, because like people want to have a clean source basically, right? Like people don't want to using like resource from like blood resource, maybe we can say, that using like low pay farmer or like a child labor. So I think even like there's a lot of things that not show on the surface, but on the back end and on the below the surface, most of people already realize, okay, blockchain is very good because it's a ledger, it's a database that cannot be it's immutable, right? As long as the nodes is like decentralized, the data is once it's like inputted to the blockchain, it's there. We cannot like modify the data, it's immutable. So a lot of use case of this, and a lot of like big company or like countries or like uh even small company want to use this in their company, but yeah, the talent is not there yet. So if you guys want to learn Web3, I think it's really have a bright futures.
Okay, there's a very positive notes from Ricksen just now. So, but maybe let me challenge on the other side as well, right? I don't think we have heard a lot of the negative notes on
Yeah.
blockchain industries, right? So as a builders, and of course you have deal with tons and tons of global companies. You know, you obviously are very up to date with all the trends as well. What kind of future do you think? Okay, so maybe two, right? So one is what kind
Okay.
of technology that you think will be very interesting when it comes to blockchain? I know you just mentioned about logistic, but will that still be interesting in the 5 year in your opinion? But and the second one is that on the negative note that I just mentioned, right? Do you think there's any negative consideration, especially for people now who want to enter blockchain? Is there anything that we need to know that we need to be very careful of, or is there any any kind of notes basically, right? As an industry player like yourself.
Okay, maybe I'll answer the first questions regarding like what industries. I think two topics that is will be like quite big is like, of course the first is finance, right? I think finance and blockchain and crypto will be there, and it will be like the biggest industries on Web3. The second is like maybe any industries that need clear data, kind of like supply chain or AI. I think that's the two industries that we as a Web3 developers have to learn or like know also. Or like if you guys applying for a company or want to join a company, make sure like from these three, which one that they are going into. Like is it like crypto, it means like finance with blockchain, or like is it something like supply chain with blockchain, or like yeah, mostly these two, or like AI with blockchains. That's first. And some kind of notes that I can give is like you have to know what you want to learn at first. Like maybe I can say on Web3, there's a lot of trends, right? And we have to define which one is like long lasting trends or like short term trends. Like meme coins is like something that's short term kind of. And like if you see on Web3, there's a lot of like new language or like new tech stack. Like there's EVM, and suddenly right now Solana virtual machine is like SVM is like quite big, right? And like there's a SUI, there's like a lot of like new tech, and you have to be clear first like at which tech stack that you want to learn. And you have to know, like let's say like this, as EVM is like the biggest, right? If you're good at EVM, then you will be used everywhere else. But do you want to learn EVM where there's quite a lot of like developers, or you want to try to learn SVM or like move on that can do on SUI or like on Aptos? So the tech stack is some notes that you have to learn, and the industry of the Web3 that you have to see. Is that answering your questions?
Yep, but hopefully the audience also uh,
Yeah,
will get some, at least, both consideration, right? Positive and
yeah,
negative, and what to look out for, basically, right? When it
yeah,
comes in this industries and everything. And to be honest, it's the same in the Web2 space anyway. There's a lot of things are changing now in the
yeah.
world, and maybe becoming a farmers is a better career options nowadays, right? So again, thank you so much, Rickson, for a lot of tips and also insight, especially as a business owner. Um, but before, maybe last question before we move on to the Q&A section is that anything interesting coming up for Monklabs? I know that you mentioned about Venture Studio, and you're also building several products yourself, like Pit Stop. You just mentioned about Pit Stop, and then Yap as well. There's so many interesting things that you're currently building. But maybe do you want to spill some of the interesting stuff that you're also currently cooking that might be interesting?
Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll share some like open cloud is like quite useful right now. It turns out after we do the test, so kind of like on internal Monk Labs, we have our own like open cloud. So this will become like the source of truth, like kind of like assistant for all of the team. Like that's something that we are building, and like for the public, maybe what I can share is like the pit stop design. That's something that we just released. It still don't have the AI features in there, but in the futures we want to build pit stop to become AI also. So you can like prompt and you have a website with all of the pit stop components. So your website will be looks amazing, will have good animations, and you can use it right away. Maybe there's something that you guys can check out of pit stop. And yeah, we also have Yap. Yep, in Indonesia, or like it's targeted for Asian creators, basically for creators to monetize their fans. That's also like have a lot of things going on in there where we will release some new exciting features. I think next month, and by next week we will have one of like Indonesia's biggest streamers will use Yap next week. So yeah, just keep seeing Monklabs on Instagram, and you guys can follow what's on our side.
Ooh, very interesting. So one of the biggest creator is going to use Yap next week. So stay tuned, guys.
Yeah,
Maybe it's a marathon, or maybe some of the others majors is coming up. So
just see you next week.
stay tuned, guys. But again, thank you so much. I think it's super exciting, and for whatever you're doing right now is amazing. But and I see that there's a lot of question already from the audience. And again, feel free to check out on the live chat as well, Rickson. But I'll read it for you.
Okay.
Sort of interesting one, right? So okay, so okay, let's start with a easy topic first, right? So a question from Ozarik Yandika 166. I think he is spamming a lot of questions here, but he is asking about if you could highlight one of the key milestones that will define Monklab's success, what will it be? So maybe you can take this question as what kind of success benchmark is used in your company as of now, actually, Rickson.
As of now, what I can define success is like how we can grow the team and like we can work together on multiple projects at the same time, and all the project is like have a good distributions. So right now, I think we are in a very good positions where we have multiple products and the product is like already live and used by like thousands of users. So that's right now is like one of the milestone that we have, and we still have like two products that is upcoming, and we'll also partner up with like a big Indonesian influencer also to do the distributions. So yeah, maybe that's what I can say. As a venture studio, we are not only focusing on like how much client we have or like how much our revenue, but also like how much is the users of like the products that we've built, because that's what we as builders want to have, like users. Like there's no point if we make a super cool products but no one use it. right? It's better for us to like make a product and people use it and we can get feedbacks from the users and we keep iterate the product till it's become like yeah the best product there out there.
There you go. Another amazing insight and also answer from Ricksen. Again, best of luck with Monklabs and all the cool stuff that you're currently
Thank
developing
you.
as well. So let
Yeah.
us move to the next one. So okay. So question from Fenty I1Z. So in your experience, Rickson, where do Web3 and AI actually complement each other, and where do they actually clash?
Okay, so maybe what I can share something that where it's like complementary. I think it's one of the project that we built last year where the I think not last year, 2 years ago, where AI and AI ChatGPT um DALL-E, the image generation model, is not really usable yet because you have to become a premium users of ChatGPT to use it, right? And we make a product where people can using Telegram bot where our bot is like connected to ChatGPT API where people can do generations only with Telegram bot and they can pay using like crypto tokens or they have to hold certain amount of token and they can generate the image. I think that's where basically if you know AI is like something already global, right? And on global side, the payments is not something that global yet. Right now, the easiest way for us to pay someone in US is using crypto rather than using banks or like any other payment gateway. So I think what is will be complementary is like AI is global and Web3 is global. And Web3 or like crypto payments can move very fast, just like how AI can go. I think that's the industry where this board right now is really complementary.
Very interesting. And uh, when it comes to Web3 and AI, uh, where do you think they kind of clash and maybe not, go side by side?
Web3 and AI. To be
Mm-hmm.
honest, I don't think any of the like unmatched between like the Web3 and AI yet. I don't know what industry right now. What I can based on my experience, I just have the experience of like where it's like really complement each others.
Okay, there you go, Fenty. Hopefully that answered. But I agree. I cannot think of anything as well regarding Web3 and AI. Kind of clash. Maybe robots or Gundam, but I'm not sure. Okay? So let us move to the next question again.
Yeah,
So I think this one is interesting. Let us stay a little bit on the career side and maybe the
yeah.
builders aspect as well, right? So question from Oza. So Oza is asking about what is the one internal metrics or KPI that the public doesn't see, but kind of matters to you the most on your team as of now.
So is it if I take a perspective where the KPI for the team, what others didn't see that I see for my team, right? Uh, First is like their sense. Again, I always like people that have a big curiosity. That's why I always ask why, and even like if they're join Monklabs, I also want them to be proactive. I think that's one of like the major KPI for me compared to like other company because I to be honest like I've hired someone that work on like other big company in Indonesia but they're kind of like don't have a curiosity, don't have proactiveness. And I think that's something that really important if you want to work anywhere. If you want to grow your career, if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to be proactive, right? You cannot be just okay, you just waiting for the task and you don't do the task after you complete, then that's it, right? Where in my opinion, what's good is like you have a task, you solve it as fast as you can, as good as you can, then you can ask your boss or like your friends what things that you can do or even the task that you already finished, then you can add something to them for it to how to make it like even better, even faster, or like more efficient, or like looks better and others. So yeah, I like people that have proactiveness, curiosity, and yeah, like to learn.
So that is the hidden KPI for Monklab, guys. So keep that in mind. So maybe that also works in helping you guys to be noticed, basically, right? With all the
Mm,
projects, the companies, and of course, curiosity can also drive you very far ahead in life,
yeah.
right? So let us move to the next question again. So there's a question from. Wait, let me try to find it again. Okay, so I think it's a question from Ricky just now. Is that if I noticed that Wong Labs right now the narrative is AI and blockchain, right? So, and
Mm.
but let's say there's no AI and no blockchain anymore. What kind of others categories that you think might still be worth it for us to explore, especially for the technical folks?
Oh, I know cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. And
I think that's
do you mind giving
yeah,
just a bit of
yeah. So
like
yeah.
yeah.
I think yeah, because it's like for the technical or like developers, right? I think cybersecurity is like something will always be needed for everyone, even there's no AI, even like there's no Web3. We still live in the world where like we still use technology, right? And like finance still there, like banking still there, and social media still there, e-commerce still there. Like every one of like the industry will always need cybersecurity because to be honest, like there's always a hackers, right? Like there's always bad people, and we always need someone to help to secure our site, like our server, like our system, how it cannot be manipulated. How yeah, cybersecurity is something that I always think like even like on Monklabs, we also do some of the smart contract, right? But on smart contract, we are using auditors basically. But it's kind of the same. If you are non Web3, you always need like white hat hacker, right, to try to hack your system and tell you where's the point where people can manipulate or like abuse your system.
So there you go, guys. Cybersecurity is kind of the future as well. Maybe that kind of works in war situation as well. Just to protect
Yeah,
yourself. I think we have seen that what the U.S. is capable of in Venezuela not long ago,
yeah,
and kind of
crazy.
quote unquote cyber hack, some of the machine and also missiles, and I think that is kind of happening all over the world as well. And interestingly, I have a friend who work with military as well, and
Yeah,
definitely cybersecurity is bigger than you think. Then
yeah,
more a lot more advanced than you can think as well. So definitely I 100% agree with just what Rickson just mentioned just now. Even though it's not an easy subject
yeah.
to master, yeah, but it is very promising indeed. Um, So again, thank you for the questions, Ricky. So let me try to find the others as well. Okay, next one from Fandoli. So Fandoli is asking to you, Rickson, like if an AI agent is autonomous, how do we know it's making a mistake before the mistake actually happened? So maybe since you're currently exploring open clause and everything as well, right? As a single
Mm,
source of truth, you just mentioned, right?
yeah.
But how do you prevent or you know sort of mistake from happening as of now? And do you think this is kind of reliable as of now?
Okay. So right now, like I said, AI is still not that smart yet. I mean, like it still needs people, right? It's like make our life more efficient, more easier, but it cannot really replace someone that have like authority. So to answer the questions like how we prevent the AI to make mistakes on the actions is like we don't give we don't give it like too much authority. So for like some of like the actions that they need, they still have kind of like approval, or like if they are not really confident with the thing that they want to reply. Like this is the case of like AI chatbot, right? Like for example, if they've been asked something and from their knowledge base they don't know to answer it, they still have a fallback to human. So right now on Monklabs, we are not really saying you can replace everyone with AI. What we can do is like we can make three people works just only by one people. So we still need the people, but the two other people is like help with AI. So yeah, to answer it's like we still have leveling authority, and we still have the fallback mechanism in case the AI not really confident with the actions or like with the things that it want to do.
Thank you for the answer, Rickson. I know it's a little bit technical, but I think a lot of the technical audience is kind of wondering, and I
Mm.
heard, again, a lot of people are currently exploring what you explore as well, which is the open clause and everything, including
Yeah.
us, to be honest, right? Us internally,
Okay.
so trying to make it as efficient as possible, basically, right? So for a lot of
Yeah.
the boring job that we typically do, right? From
Agree.
posting
Yeah.
on TG or maybe Discord,
Yeah.
doing daily research, blah blah blah. But but to be honest, I think AI definitely is a good thing for us as a builders, right? Not sure whether it's a
Yeah.
good news for the overall majority, but yeah, again, technology advancement is always good, hopefully
Yes.
for the humanity. If the World War
Yeah.
Three doesn't doesn't win
Yeah.
the
We
war
hope for the best.
first. Yeah, thankfully Indonesia is a little bit far from Middle East. At least
Agree.
missile will not reach, but
Yeah.
the price hike is coming
Yeah.
for us guys. So stock up your toilet tissues and everything. Okay, so I think we are on an 8 p.m. already. Super interesting again, Rickson. Thank you so much for a lot of insights today. But before I take us home tonight on these particular sections, I do want you to maybe just give a bit of, you know, mini speech, like a mini
Okay.
speech on like what you have in mind as of now. Again, you can talk about, what you have in mind in mock labs, and maybe if you have any. I think you already mentioned about some cool projects and mega creators coming to gap creators and everything as well. But I think most importantly, do you have anything on your mind as of now, Rickson, right? That you think that you really need to put this out and maybe, inspire a little bit some of the audience today. And maybe if they want to join Hmong Labs sometimes in the future, they can also as well get some inspiration from this.
Okay. So maybe I'll also sum up some of the things that I mentioned earlier. So if for the someone that want to jump into Web3 or like AI, the mindset of like have a big curiosity that you want to learn, and you're not only focusing on the things that you focus. I think that's one the most important thing. So you have to be kind of like holistic people, not only focusing on things that you only focus. Maybe this is something that example that I like to sometimes like share to my teams also. Like let's say if you're a cashier in a subway, right? Like on a subway, the sandwich, if you become a cashier, even like you are the best cashier in the world, right? And suddenly there's someone that throw out a tea or like spill coffee in the floor, that make when people come into the store and like they will step on the spilled coffee, it will make the store is like not visitable, right? Even like you have the best cashier, you have the best marketer, but if the store is like not good for people to coming, then there's no use case for it to for you to become the cashier. So you as a cashier, what you can do is like either you clean the floor to make your store presentable, or you tell your friends that become a custom cleaning service to clean. So that's kind of like the example. So if you're developers and you think, okay, the company is like making a mistakes on the design side or making a mistakes on the marketing side, you have to speak up. You have to tell your boss, have tell your friends, hey, I think this features is like not good, or you think okay this marketing things is not good, then you looks like you have a sense of ownership in that company. I think that's one of like the most important thing that many people don't have if you are working in a company, where in my opinion that's something we as a business owners, or like we as a boss, like really appreciate if someone can become something like that. And yeah, that's for the someone that's still looking for a job or learn something new, and always have the mindset of like you can just ask AI, you can ask everything to AI. And if you do still feels like AI is not uh answering your question, or like you're still confused, join a community, any community, meet new person every day, join any online community, offline community. Then you can find someone that become your partner or like become your friends. Because in my personal experience also, I met a lot of like cool friends, cool connections through offline communities and online communities. So yeah, basically that's what I can say to all of you guys for tonight.
Thank you so much, Ricksen. Super inspiring. And again, whenever you see the dirty floors, maybe you can use AI and ask whether I should clean the floor. Maybe that can give you
Or
a
ask your
hint.
friend.
That can give you a hint in like how to become the
Yeah,
employee of the month on the store and kind of take you forward to finally become the CEO of Subway, right? So
yeah,
thank you so much again, Rickson, for coming to Manchester tonight. You know, super exciting and a breath of fresh air as well. I think for the audience tonight to have a new perspective, especially as from the builders' perspective. Um, and again, thank you so much, guys, for coming to the event today and dropping so many interesting questions as well. And but don't forget, I have some last but not least is regarding that we are currently actually running a super team X Mentor scholarship career scholarship program as well, which is we are currently looking for 50 people to be onboarded into the bootcamp programs, where eventually by the end of the programs you guys will be sourced or introduced at least, you know, to start a company within Web3 and maybe Monklabs as well if you are impressive and kind of can clean the floor for a company kind of mindset, and maybe Monklabs can hire
yeah.
you as well, right? So feel free to please screenshot the screen, guys. If there's a QR code, or again, of course, check out Mansour.work and other social media to to know about the details of the information. But we are still open until the around 7th of April, meaning that there's 1 week left for you guys to apply. The next public interview that we are going to do is on Tuesday. So feel free to drop in to Menser Discord as well to just check out the water a little bit and see some of the people getting roast on stage. So that also might be interesting for you guys. So, and again, thank you so much, guys, for coming today. And again, thank you, Rickson. So hopefully, there's a lot of
Thank you.
cool stuff for Mong Labs as well. And again, definitely check out Mong Labs, guys, as well. Is there any social media that you need to mention, Rickson?
I think all good. That's it.
Okay, no social media, but check out the Yap creators and the other
Yeah.
products that Mong Labs is currently building as well. So again, thank you so much and have a good day and bye bye.
All right. Thank you guys. Bye bye.